Okay, so we had a really nice trade here on Euro Swiss. Now it was only a one-to-one. It wasn't anything crazy, but in the current market conditions, money is money, profit is profit. So I'm just going to walk you through. It was very simple, very straightforward trade. And I'm just going to show you some technicals, and I'm also going to show you some of the more economic reasons we took the trade. So some of you will know the way I trade, especially when it comes to sort of swing trading. So I rely heavily on the fib. So, to read the fib from the very bottom to the very top of this bullish move, now this came last week when we had news of the fiscal stimulus by Germany. We also had a hawkish ECB. So we saw the euro rally. Now, I didn't think that that rally was necessarily over. I thought we were ready to have some sort of pullback. So I was looking at this and I actually missed the 50% pullback. So what I did was I set a buy limit right here at the bottom. Now, obviously, I didn't know it was the bottom at the time. I'll be honest, I kind of just chucked in that buy limit. I saw we had a bullish, aggressive candle here on the H1. I set the buy limit at the bottom of that candle and I went to bed. Anyway, when I woke up, we had a beautiful entry. Now I'm just going to pull over the Discord so you can see it. So this was the trade. This is the MetaTrader screenshot. I can also show you on the MetaTrader terminal in a second. So this was where the buy limit was. It was almost perfect. So it's actually, I got slipped very slightly because this was, I think, Asia session or something. I don't know. I was asleep. But yeah, I got slipped very slightly. But you can see how almost perfect this trade was. I mean, the exit was really nice as well. If we just go back to the chart here, you can see we exited just as we had this consolidation at the top. So it was really nice. I made about $1,000 on this one. Now you can see this is the quality of analysis that goes into our trades. We don't do anything too crazy. You can see we sent the buy limit here. We had the technical analysis. We had some some images to back this up, like the ECB holding rates or expected to hold rates. We had the S&B that are expected to cut. Retail sentiment were very short. We could see short positions on the euro were sort of unwinding. So yeah, we sent a lot of analysis here detailing the ECB and the S&B and things. This was obviously the limit order and the take profit and stop loss that we had in place. Now you can see here on the MetaTrader terminal, the entry was right here. This is the live MetaTrader terminal. You can see I'm moving around. It's Darwin live. So yeah, real trade, no problem there. Now we're currently sat in almost another 1% profit with some really nice open trades. So I'm just going to take you through some of those ones. So we've got XTI, which actually I took this live on stream. So I wouldn't normally show you trades that are at entry. But again, this one I took publicly anyway, but we also sent it to Discord. So we're in oil. We've got one in natural gas, but again, that's a signal. So I'm not going to show it because it's still at entry. We've got Australian US dollar that's in a little bit of drawdown. So again, don't really mind showing this one. We've also got gold longs, so you can see here I scaled in. We actually saw a pretty strong move to the downside, so I thought, it's a great place to enter into this trade again because I'm still very bullish on gold. Excuse me, my take profits are a little bit lower on this one. I'm actually targeting around 3,000, but we've got CPI tomorrow, so I've just set them here temporarily just to see if we get some crazy spike. At least I'll get taken out, make some money, and then we can possibly re-enter again after that one. But the idea is around 3,000 on gold. We've got another short here on the Aussie New Zealand. This is a 1 to 1.5. So I've risked $1,000 or just under $1,000 on this one to make it around 2,000. Sorry, so it's a 1 to 2, not a 1 to 1 or a 1 to 1.5, whatever I said. And we've also got Swiss yen. I've been talking about Swiss yen for a long time. Managed to get a nice entry on this one, obviously taking it on a sort of daily, weekly time frame. It's a position trade, so I'm happy to hold this one for a while. Next up, let's just have a quick look. This is a bit of a mixed video, actually. We've just done a little bit of a trade breakdown. So let's have a look at the S&P as well, because this is something I want to discuss with you guys. Now, the S&P, and we're actually going to discuss the DAX as well, because I think the DAX is in a similar sort of predicament, really. But the S&P has got a lot of buyers at the moment, especially retail. Sorry, I keep switching charts, but here we can look on the daily. Now, this point here, we saw a pin bar or a bullish pin bar, whatever you want to call this candle. I don't really care. But I was live when this on live stream when this candle was getting formed. I was telling my chat, do not take this long. Get out. If you are long, do not lose money on this, because the reason is it looks great technically. I was also very tempted to just go for a technical play only and just go long sort of on this, previous support, resistance, 200 moving average. But there's that typical saying in the markets where if it looks too simple, you're likely going to get liquidated. Now, again, I'm not necessarily a perma bear on the S&P or any of the equities really, because I mean the general drift of these markets is very bullish, as you can see. So I'm not necessarily looking to go short, but I don't think longs are the play at the moment. So we've got a lot of problems in the US. We're having a lot of profit taking. We're having a lot of sellers in the markets. And generally, the optimism in the market around the US specifically just isn't good. I mean, we can see that reflected on the DXY here. Look at how bearish this is. Same thing here on the S&P. So this is very optimistic or pessimistic, depending on how you look at it. But I'm actually looking for an entry down at around 4,700. Now, whether that will come, I don't know. I can't see that far into the future. But I think this is the best or the most clear potential reversal point in this market on larger time frames. So if we just look at the way the S&P moves and the way it interacts with this 200 weekly moving average, it's very common for it to touch, deviate, come back down, touch, deviate, come back down. Obviously, this was COVID. Then it deviates and it comes back down. It's mean reversion. So I'm looking for a very similar thing here. We've deviated quite far away from this 200. It would make complete sense for it to come back down, have a reversion, and then continue on its trajectory to the upside. So that's something to keep in mind. Again, I'm not a perma bear, not trying to call it doomsday, but I think that's very, very realistic. Same thing here with the DAX. Now, I'm not saying that we are necessarily going to get this huge dump on the DAX, like something like this, or, it'll be a 25% loss, or a 25% decline. But I'm just very, very cautious on the DAX because it's the same thing here that we saw in the S&P, where we're at a place where we're probably going to see a lot of retail trying to buy this level. And although we've had stimulus in Germany, I just don't think this is going to be a pretty time for the equities. I think the risk appetite just isn't there for investors at the moment. So we could even look for even a touch down to the 200 moving average on the daily, maybe even higher. Maybe we could look for somewhere even down to this low. I don't know. But what I'm saying, and the reason I'm talking about this, is I just want to make sure that people aren't rushing in. The typical buy the dip. That's completely valid, completely fair. If you're investing, if you're putting into long-term holdings, like I've bought quite a lot of the S&P actually recently for long-term investments. And when I say long-term, I mean the next 30, 40 years. But right now, for actively trading, I wouldn't say this is the time really to try and buy the dips just yet. Anyway, and again, this is just my personal view. If you view it differently, go for it. This isn't financial advice. It's just my 2 cents. So that wraps up this video. I know it's been a little bit of a mishmash of things, but I just wanted to have a chat about a few things, show you the trade, show you some of the profits we're in. And again, if you want to get free access to the Discord, you can in the description. You can also join the free Telegram. I put a lot of content in there, a lot of free analysis for you to digest and get clarity on the markets. So guys, have a great one. Please like and subscribe if you're not already. I will see you all soon. Thank you for watching.